Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here for this one-take video, so sorry for mistakes, it's not getting edited. So this is my Doctor Who news announcement slash reaction to Doctor Who The Collection Season 21, the final 1980s box set in the Doctor Who The Collection Blu-ray range, the last for the 5th and 6th Doctors. And I believe this is the 19th overall. Yes, 5 of the remaining 7 after this one will be 60s box sets with the 1st and 2nd Doctors. We have not had any 2nd Doctor box sets yet. And then the other 2 are the last 3rd and last 4th Doctor box sets respectively, being seasons 11 and 16. I knew they weren't going to do another 4th Doctor set after season 13 just yet, because they just done that. Apart from maybe those last few seasons with the 1st and 2nd Doctors, they have not done any back-to-back season releases, and they haven't, well, apart from seasons 19 to 18, the other way around, and they released season 19, then they released season 18, the 2nd and 3rd releases, but not with the same Doctor, with the 5th Doctor and then the 4th Doctor, so they were okay, those ones were back-to-back releases, but in reverse order. Instead of 1819, it was 1918. Well, we haven't had back-to-back Doctor releases. So, for example, again, season 18, 4th Doctor set, and season 12 was also 4th Doctor. We had the 5th Doctor one in between. I think is that the only time we've had back-to-back seasons, apart from maybe the future 60s ones? I think maybe. Yeah, I think it has been. I think they've all been a bit more scattered about since then. This one, 21, yeah, a bit of a distance from 13, which itself was a bit of a distance since 7. Also, first box set with a number 1. This is the first box set to end in a number to end with 1, so 1, 11, 21, and we will get 11. If not the one after or the one after that, it'll be soon, certainly. In the case of starting with the number 1, yeah, we've had all but 2 of those. But anyway, yeah, season 21. This is really exciting news. It's coming out on March the 16th, according to Amazon, HMV, Zavvi, and Railways, and it is priced at, it's now £58 on Amazon and HMV. Still 55 on Zavvi, and it's nearer to 60 on Railways. Railways seem to be a bit more pricey than the other ones for some reason. However, I'm not sure about Railways, but Zavvi doesn't do free P&P on some of its most of its stuff, so it's probably actually cheaper buying it from HMV, or if you've got a Prime account, Amazon, if you're all going to the HMV store to get it, if there's going to be some copies there, or FOP. So those are my recommendations. If you want to buy this set, get it from Amazon or HMV, because Zavvi's P&P prices might be more than the extra amount of money you're paying for Amazon or HMV. HMV do free P&P for stuff over £20, and Amazon it's free if you have a Prime account, and it's a Prime release, so free P&P there. That's postage and packaging, by the way. If Railways are offering it for free, that's good, but that one's also probably the most expensive, so maybe do Zavvi above that one if price is worry about money. Anyway, so season 21 box set. This is exciting news for me personally. Season 21 is the best season of the 5th Doctor and 6th Doctor because of Twin Dilemma, even though Twin Dilemma is easily the worst 6th Doctor story. Sorry, Time Lash and Terror the Vervoids haters. Why am I apologizing? Twin Dilemma is usually considered one of the worst, if not the worst, story of the whole show. It constantly comes last on the DWM polls, Doctor Who magazine polls, even though we've had so many new fans coming in over the years and debating about new stories from the modern series or going back to find other old stories that they're not really fans of, and yet it still seems that the same old stories keep getting some of the top and bottom positions. I wonder if that just seems to be maybe set in stone by this point, or for some of them, not all of them. Some of them like kind of go up and down a bit. But Twin Dilemma, I believe, has always come last in the Doctor Who magazine polls, all 4 of them since 1998. And I've got to be honest, yes, it is the weakest 6th Doctor story there. Although I wouldn't consider it the worst story of the whole show. Worse, or even the worst story of the 1980s. That one goes Time in the Rani. But it is the worst 6th Doctor story. Worst story of the first half of the decade, 1980 to 84. Although, actually, no, I'm not really a fan of Kinder. I don't really... Well, okay, objectively, yes. Subjectively, I don't like Kinder, really. But I'll put that to a side. But yeah, anyway, technically, season 21 is the best 6th Doctor season, even though it's got his worst story. But the rest of it is with Peter Davison's 5th Doctor. And, okay, Warriors of the Deep is a guilty pleasure. I've always enjoyed that, even though it's objectively not good. Maybe if a certain Prime Minister hadn't called a pointless election to then have the BBC cover that more so that they give Doctor Who more time to finish its production stuff and do some more rehearsals, then maybe it might have turned out a little bit better. To be honest, I thought the election would have come in later in 1984 anyway, because the one before that was 79. I don't know what Margaret Thatcher was thinking, to be honest. There's a lot of things that woman made questionable decisions. Then again, I could say the same about other prime ministers. Anyway, so yeah, Warriors of the Deep. I think it could have been a bit better if it had a bit more time. Maybe if they pushed it back a little bit into the schedule. But alas. However, the remaining stories of this season are really good. The Awakening is great. Frontiers is great. Resurrection of the Daleks is great. There's a reason why it's popular. Plan to Fight is underrated and really great. And Caves of Androzani, well, that story got the complete massive opposite end of the scale to Twin Dilemma, got the highest award of being the most popular Doctor Who story as of the 2009 Doctor Who magazine poll. Came second in the 1998 one, and I believe it's consistently been, I think it's been 4th in both 2014 and 2023 polls. Maybe 4th. I think it's been 4th both those times. So it's consistently in the top 4, including a win. The reason it went down a bit in the 2014 polls is because Blink came along and challenged it in Genesis of the Daleks for being top 3 contender for the 09 and 14 polls. Well, actually, no, Day of the Doctor challenged that for 2014 as well. Those two both kind of dropped a little bit down into 24 polls, but then 2 Peter Capaldi stories topped that one. So Heaven Sent and the Series 10 finale specifically. So but Genesis and Caves have always been top 3, later top 4 stories in these polls. And yeah, there's a reason for that. Caves of Androzani is fucking incredible. It is amazing. It honestly, I'm happy it got that greatest story ever told award in 2009 and is consistently in the top 5. I don't know if I'd personally put in my top 5 favorite stories. I honestly probably should consider it for a top 20. I think I'd definitely put it top 10 of the classic series stories. I've got a couple of my own personal favorites as well. I think for the 5th Doctor, I think after 5 Doctors, this is my favorite of his era. Although Earthshock is also a close 3rd, I think I'm safe to say. But yeah, and absolutely the best story of the series, and hands down, and second best story of this side of the 80s. In fact, along with 5 Doctors, as I mentioned. In fact, these two probably the best stories prior to Remembrance of the Fucking Awesome Daleks, aka the best story of the classic series. But that was last autumn, season 25. So yeah, season 21. It's actually really great. I know not everybody's on board with it. But apart from Caves and Mayhand Resurrection, maybe one or two others, depending on how they feel. But honestly, I think this season is the most solid run of stories since season 16, maybe even 14. Although season 15 had a fairly solid run as well, in places. I do rank that a little bit lower down, but it's a bit more solid than what came in the following seasons from 16 to 21. And I think this is also, and it also is the most solid season till 25 or 26. I don't know if I put this one above or below 25 in my overall 39 season ranking back in 23. Which, side note, seasons 1 and 2 of Bad Wolf Shooting Out were do not change any above 20. In fact, I believe I probably put them around the 20. I think I put them above Jodie Whittaker, but below Series 6 and the Hartnell stuff. And whichever Pertwee seasons I had around there, I think seasons 8 and season 8 was around there. So I'd say probably mid-20s for those. Actually, season 2 might be a little bit higher because I really like the first 5 stories of that season. So series 14 is mid-20s, above series 11, below series 6. And then actually, would probably put series 6 above series 15, but maybe season 8 of Classic Who might go in between. They're definitely kind of around that area. I'm going to have to check my list at some point. And, well, actually, my list doesn't exist anymore. I have to check the video again and rewrite the list. But let's see where they would fit in there. But definitely above Series 11. But around the same spots as Series 6, Season 8 of Classic Who, and Season 3 of Classic Who, which are around that same area. Season 21 and Season 25, however, are about 13 and 12, or 12 and 13, respectively. I'm not sure which way around it is. I think 25 might be 13 and 21's 12, but it could be the other way around. But they're definitely top 13. Yeah, this season is honestly really great. The bookend stories aside, it's actually one of the best runs of the show going on a season basis. And even I enjoy, even as I said, I enjoy Warriors of the Deep. It's a guilty pleasure. For in 5 Doctors, and you got a pretty strong streak of episodes and Warriors of the Deep. Probably would go from Enlightenment if it wasn't for King's Demons, which I actually think is worse than Warriors of the Deep, and I don't get anywhere near as much enjoyment out of that story. In fact, to be honest, Twin Dilemma might even get a little bit more enjoyment out than King's Demons, but I think King's Demons is objectively better than Dilemma and maybe even Warriors, but damn it, if only Resurrection had actually ended season 20. What a finale that would have been. Oh, but what would have come in this season then? Maybe Barbara Clegg's unused story in season 20 could have been repurposed for season 21, The Elite, one of the most popular unmade Doctor Who stories that then got turned into an audio adaptation by Big Finish, or a novel. Well, this one didn't get turned into a novel, but some of the unused stories did get turned into novels, or they would be repackaged as original stories for audio or for the novels. Or the comics, I think. Well, maybe not the comics, but, well, maybe. But more so the audios or the books, there were some ideas which didn't get onto TV would be repurposed for some of those plots, or they get novelizations and later audio adaptations under the Lost Stories range. In this case of The Elite, it's under that latter. And yeah, anyways, but season 21, this is a great season. Absolutely brilliant. It's taking me 15 minutes to mention all of that. Oh, and the trailer. Oh, what an epic trailer. That was pretty damn cool. This is the first trailer since season 15 to actually feel like it's sort of a bit of a minisode at the same time, because Pete Matee, or Russell Minton said that they were going to maybe take a bit of a break after the season 51, or a few after the season 21. They said they would have got 1 or 2 more in the works, and then they're going to stop or take a pause from it. And yeah, after season 15, we got sort of edited special trailers for seasons 25, 7, and 13, respectively. Pretty cool, by the way, though. Really good how they did those. I'm still wondering when that season 12 retroactive out now trailer in the style of some of those the previous three ones, if that's going to be included on a season 11 box set, because it's not on the season 13 one. So, and it's not on a season 18 or 19 one. So I'm wondering if they're going to do maybe a season 12 out now trailer, similar edit to what they did for season 25, 7, and 13, and put that on the season 11 box set. Sort of like a coming soon trailer. In fact, I believe season 13 actually has season 14's on there as a out now season 14 the collection. I would not be surprised if 16 did the same with season 17's one. Or this box set with season 22's. I don't think season 7 did for season 8 though, actually. Maybe not then. Yeah, okay, but it would make the most sense if season 11 did have a out now season 12 box set trailer, and it's in the same style as the 25, 7, and 13 ones, and then season 11's own one is a minisode or something, or save the budget and do 2 of the easier to edit special edit ones. But yeah, anyway, season 21 is the first minisode since the season 15 trailer. This time seeing a 50 this time seeing the Fifth Doctor and Tegan. I was trying to say older Fifth Doctor and Tegan. Maybe this is a sequel to Tales from the TARDIS, Earthshock, which they have as an extra on this release, by the way, much like Pyramids of Mars' one was in the season 13 set. So maybe this is a follow-up from Tales of the TARDIS, Earthshock. Actually, this does mean that Earthshock is going to be the only other Tales from the TARDIS aside from Pyramids of Mars to get a disc release on Blu-ray. Currently, Time Meddler could be added to season 1 or season 3, and Mind Robber season 6 hasn't even come out yet, so that could be added. But 3 Doctors, Curse of Fenric, and Vengeance of Varos probably won't be unless it has its own dedicated release. Time Meddler could, like I said, could still make one of the other 2 Hartnell releases, and Mind Robber will likely be on season 6's. Funny enough, Pyramids of Mars has not only been on a disc release, but it's now been on 2 because it was also on the Shooting Outward season 1 set as well. Anyway, but this, yeah, like I said, this trailer feels like it's a sequel to Tales from the TARDIS Earthshock because it features the older Fifth Doctor and Tegan, although the TARDIS exterior now resembles the Fifth Doctor TARDIS rather than the 15th. And they go to Butler's Wharf in London. I think that's on the southern side of the Thames now, which means I've got a new video on Universal's about Davros' timeline, and I mentioned that they go to St. Catherine's Dock, which I think they're actually on the opposite side of that here. I think they're on the south side rather than the north side of the Thames. So I might have to put a comment in saying I may have made a mistake there. That's on me. But yeah, if Butler's Wharf is on the south side, it's on the side that faces opposite St. Catherine's Dock. Anyway, so the Doctor and Tegan go there. They find that it's all changed since the 80s. It's been 40 plus years. By the time this set comes out, it'll be the 42nd anniversary of Resurrection of the Daleks. Thereabouts. In fact, actually, it might even be the 42nd anniversary of Caves of Androzani and Twin Dilemma, thenabouts. And they find this abandoned spot, and then they find that a soldier has died, and he has a communication device. And it turns out they're from Tryon, and Turlo has sent a message saying that they've been invaded. And from the clues that they've put together, they discover that it's the Daleks who have invaded. Helps that the Daleks themselves turn up to show themselves as well. And the trailer has its but the box set itself comes in halfway through, so it's like sort of a cliffhanger midway through the story of the minisode. It transitions into the trailer about all the stuff in the box set, etc. The ending of this minisode, I find it one of the stranger ones, as the Doctor and Tegan then tried to convince the Daleks to recognize them. Got a bit of the Daleks remembering the faces of the classic Doctors, except McGann. So all of them from Sylvester McCoy. And the episode basically ends on a classic series episode cliffhanger where the Doctor and Tegan basically insist on becoming prisoners of the Daleks, high-profile prisoners, so that they stay alive and are taken to Tryon. This to me feels like this is going to be a story where we're probably not actually going to get a conclusion, because this is the last 80s box set, unless there's something on the box set itself and or released on YouTube later. This actually feels a bit kind of unfinished. This story, it's leaving like they've been captured, but where are we going to finish the story? How are we going to finish the story? Are they going to reunite with Turlo? Are they going to get out of this one? Yeah, I think all the other box sets had some sort of finality, even though there was still room for maybe stuff to carry on afterwards. Like the last one, Leela was teleported to the Fourth Doctor's TARDIS, and it ended on a archive shot of the Fourth Doctor looking up. But it still felt like a sort of a conclusion to that point of the narrative we were looking at. And even stuff where they're bringing characters on to do new adventures, like that Guy Perry brings in the 22 box set, and Jo meeting her own basically kid or teenage or young adult companions in the season 9 set, Sarah Jane Adventures style. Even though those felt like they could be jumping on points for future stories or adventures that may or may not get told, there was that narrative of this trailers felt done. Like they told that story, and anything else will be told later. Here, it feels like it's part 1 of the part 2, or parts 1 and 2 of a 3 or 4-parter. Very classic Who style, but I think it's the only one that's probably not going to get resolved. So you're probably going to, like those other ones, you're probably going to have to kind of maybe do headcanon stuff to make it work. You could argue this could be the bi-generated Tales from the TARDIS Fifth Doctor, going by Russ T. Davis's logic from his Giggle commentary. But even then, it's even then, you still have to work. You still probably have to do your own headcanon on where we're going from here. I'm actually okay with not really worried about where they came from before, because I've got kind of okay, this could be where they came from before, but it doesn't have to be. But where we're going to go next, and I think this one's just going to kind of leave it, which that is a bit odd. I know why they did it, because classic Who cliffhanger and all that. It's just probably not going to get resolved, which is a shame, especially since the other ones were all self-contained, even if they did kind of leave the door open for stuff later on. Oh well, there's always expanded media, I guess. Maybe the story will be picked up somewhere else. Who knows? Maybe Big Finish will do something. It's usually Big Finish. Yeah. Anyway, that's it from this trailer reactions and news and discussion. Yeah, season 21. Awesome. Woo! Now I'm going to have to work out what my 2026 Universals, the Doctor Who Collection Blu-ray set video is going to be about. I can't keep going, where's the Patrick Troughton set? The first Patrick Troughton box set. I can't keep doing that until it happens. I did that with the Fifth Doctor for season 20. Like, where's the season 20 box set? Like, it's been a long time since season 2, his previous set. I'm actually glad to say it, with this one being the 19th set and season 20 being the 14th, it's actually been a much smaller gap. And also we've the Sixth Doctor gaps have probably been a bit smaller because of that, because season 23 was the 5th set, and then season 22 was the 11th, and now we've gone to the 19th. So the gaps have been a bit smaller for him. 4 to 11 and 11 to 19s, as opposed to 5, which has apart from the First Doctor not getting his first set till the 12th set, and the Second Doctor's first set will be at earliest the 20th. Probably not even the 20th, it might even be 22nd. I'd say earliest the 21st, and latest would have to be 24, because then that makes it the last 3. So, but the First Doctor's first one's 12th. And not including possible Wilderness set for Paul McGann, 8th Doctor, The Fifth Doctor's kind of been had the biggest gaps. Had the biggest gap between releases. Again, First Doctor could easily beat that by having season 1 be the 23rd set, maybe, depending on, or season 3 be the 23rd set. If the next 2 or 3 of the next 2 are the last 2 70 sets, and maybe a Second Doctor. But honestly, it could even be a First Doctor before Second Doctor. But yeah, out of between releases, the biggest gap has been for a Doctor has been season 19 to 20, 19 to 20, 10 release gap, and because of the scheduling of them, about nearly 5 years. Yeah, nearly 5 years. Whilst this time it will be 2.5, and a 5 set release, which under the new release pattern since 2021, aside from 2021 itself, which had 3 releases, under showcase from 2022, where it's been 2 a year, and usually one in the spring, one in the autumn. Then yes, well, actually it's 2022, one of them was summer, and then the other one was December. Okay, but usually like spring, autumn, maybe, or summer, winter. Under this new system, I think 2023 is when it's become the status quo of March release and October release, I think, or September, October release. So it's become that order now, and going by that, then yeah, it makes sense that it was 5 releases 2.5 years after season 20's under this new release release schedule, as of 2023 onwards. Currently, this means 2026 probably will have at least one other box set. I will guarantee it's either season 11 or season 16. Probably 11, because then that's a year and a half since the previous Third Doctor set, much like season 13 was from season 15. But it could also easily be the next First Doctor box set or the first Second Doctor box set. It is going to be the 20th release. It will have to be something big. Then again, the 10th was season 17. It was... I was going to say it was the first Fourth Doctor set in quite a while, but then they took a break from the Fourth Doctor for a bit, so I suppose more so the first Fourth Doctor box set from the Graham Williams era, maybe. We'll see how it goes. See, the 20th set, it could even be the Wilderness Years. Probably not. If they're going to do Wilderness Years, it'll probably be towards the end now. Or maybe a TV movie Steel special edition, or not special edition, 20th anniversary edition, or Steelbook release in May. Ooh, that would be great. What a great 27th birthday present. Or the summer. So, yeah, the 20th anniversary Blu-ray release was in September, so that was after the anniversary. Anyway, so that's probably it from me. Season 21, awesome, looking forward to it. Coming out March 16th, if it doesn't get delayed, like some of the other ones did. There hasn't seemed to be a problem since they've gone to this new schedule. I think season 8 was the last one to get delayed, but then again, some of the other ones we didn't even know when the heck they were coming out, because they were keeping it close to their chest, and you only really found out maybe less than a month in advance. This one, at the very least, is saying, at the moment, is going to be March. So we've got about 3.5 months time, or less than 3.5 months. So that'll be great. Okay, anyway, as for what could come next, as I mentioned, it's going to be one of there's 7 possibilities, but the most likely 2 are either season 11, which I'd probably say is the most likely, or season 16. Maybe a Hartnell or Troughton if we're lucky, or the Wilderness Years if we're also if we're lucky, but most likely is going to be season 11. But if it is a Hartnell Troughton, most likely for those are season 1, especially if they got that whole right situ for An Earthly Child for the box set. covered. For the Troughton, either 5 or 6. I think it's still up in the air which one of those two is most likely to go first. I don't really know which one probably would go first. Maybe season 5 if Wind Space got animated. Maybe season 6. Depends. Whatever they. To be honest, I think season 5 has one less missing episode than season 6 that hasn't been animated at this point in time. Wind Space has 2 surviving episodes out of 6, while Space Pirates only has 1. So, and everything else has been animated or had a proper recon. So, Wind Space did have that other recon, but I guess they probably want the proper animation before they release it. We will find out. Hopefully later in next year, we'll find out what the following box set will be and see what number 20 will be. This does rob season 21 being the 21st box, the possibility of it being the 21st box set, much like how seasons 8 and 15 were the 8th and 15th box sets released. Season 21 was the last one that could have had that honor. And it coming 2 sets earlier than that kind of robs that opportunity. But I guess without the doing a first, second Doctor box set, otherwise they're doing double duty on the 3rd and 4th Doctors, and they probably don't want to finish them just yet, considering that they're now finishing 5 and 6, and they've already done 7 before they've even started on 2. And they can't go much further than 1 at the moment, perhaps. On 1. We'll see how it goes. When 11 and 16 are done, however, that does just leave all of the 60 sets left, the remaining 60 sets left. So they would have to start pushing for seasons 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 at some point in the future. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they go down to 1 set release per year after that. Same if possible Wilderness years. Which might even bump up the back to 2 releases for 1 year. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 60 sets went back down to a single set a year. But then again, maybe the Wilderness set will be the 20th set. Who knows? Still holding out for something for the TV movie, even if it doesn't have all these other bells and whistles stuff around it. One last thing to say with season 21. This is going to be the biggest box set yet. It's 10 discs. 10 discs for 7 stories. Season 2 managed to get a disc per story. That was 9 stories. Season 3 is going to be 10 stories. If you can do a disc for each story, you wouldn't even be surprised if Master Plan ended up having 2 discs. I would expect season 3 is going to be even bigger than this set. Whether any of those other 60s ones will be is to be seen. But in terms of the post-60 stories seasons, this is the biggest set yet. And I think season 20 before that was also really big. That was 7 stories, but it was 9 discs. But then again, that had about 3 versions of 5 Doctors on that, and another disc for another story, I think. 7 story, might have been 3 discs for 5 Doctors. There is the possibility one of these ones is a bonus disc, is like just a plain old season-long bonus disc instead of being a more extras for a story, and maybe throw on an couple of extra bonus features that covered from the whole season on there as well. But we'll see how it goes. Looking forward to season 21 coming out on Blu-ray in March. You got 5 excellent stories. 5 go for, at worst, really good to fucking awesome stories, and you've also got Warriors of the Deep and the Twin Dilemma. the former of which, like I said, I actually enjoy. So I actually think there's 6 decent stories on here. But you know, that's me personally. Best set of the 80s, best season of the 80s, this side of the 80s, prior to season 25, season 26. Maybe even 26, depending on which order I put this and 25 on the ranking. Which way around it is. I have a feeling I put this one above 25. I have that feeling. It could be the other way around. I think this one might be 1 spot above, though. But season 26 is still the best of the 80s. That one is my 6th favourite of the show. And third favourite of the Classic Who. For those wondering, 13 and 7 are my top 2 from Classic Who. And they are in the top 5 alongside the Revivals series 4, 3, and 1. And for you season 12 and 14 fans, what's 14 then 12 next, cover of the top 8, and then I believe it's series 5 and classic season 5. So those are the top 10, and then I think season 4 is 11th. So I think that's the top 13 covered. But yeah, go and watch those videos. I need to do an update video about where the Shooty Gatwa seasons are going to go now. But like I said, they'd be somewhere between series 11 and that whole bunch of other ones I mentioned from Hartnell, Pertwee, Matt Smith. Okay, so that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.